Here's a quick demonstration of how to use some of the AI fill tools in Photoshop to quickly remove elements that you don't want. Now, this is not necessarily something that is always ethical to do, but occasionally you're using images in a way that you need to just remove an element. So let's take a look at this picture. We have this hiker on the road. Let's go ahead and say we want to remove this hiker. Maybe we want to add some other elements there or text. I'm going to go ahead and use my lasso tool, and there's different ways that you can select elements of your document, including some magic wand tools and magic lasso. I like this one because it allows me to sort of do a little bit of extra space around any subject and have control over those edges. What this is going to do is define the area that's going to become generatively filled based on the context around it. So as soon as I highlight this, it gives me this option, and I'm going to choose the paint bucket tool. But rather than filling with a single color, which is what the paint bucket typically does, we're going to choose content aware fill. And what this does is uses basically the context cues in your image to fill that in. And we can see even, for instance, notice that there's a little dark patch here, which is actually the shadow of the person and maybe something we don't want. You can also see it's kind of fuzzy. It repeats some of that texture. This is not a precise way to do things, but if we just wanted to approximate that background and texture so that we could do something else with this image, it works pretty well. Now you'll notice that there's this one little spot up at the top that sort of copied from the edges, and we would just need to do that again to say, we want this part filled. It will usually only take once or twice with that content aware fill. Sometimes you have to do it a few extra times where we say we don't want that, we want the stuff that's actually around it. The other way to do this, kind of the old-fashioned way, is using the clone tool. This is sometimes much more quick at getting the same effect. Eventually I'm deselecting that and my image is now free to do something new with it. Let's look at that on one more example here. This is a photo of Pike Place Market. Let's go ahead and say we don't want these little flag things that are showing up in the top. Again, if you were doing this as a documentary project, you would not want to make manipulations like this. That would be unethical, but this works pretty slick for being able to do this here. If I hold down the on a Mac it's Shift, I think it's actually a Shift on Windows as well, I can do multiple things selected at the same time. And once I have everything selected that I want to fill, I'll be able to use those options again. And you'll notice in this one that there's kind of a delicate cloud pattern. Clouds are great for generating because they don't have to be really precise. So I'm going to go ahead again and click the content aware fill. And I'm going with the defaults here, but you can always try out other options as well. And now it will fill those in. There's one more over here. We'll do that just to be thorough. And it will look as if those little flags were never there.